Hey friends, welcome back. Emma here. I am going on a big plein air painting workshop in Boulder, Colorado next week, and the instructor is Mark Boedges. I learned about him in college. His technique and skill is so masterful, and if I could just glean a couple tidbits from him and help improve my own plein air painting, I would be beyond the moon. So I can't wait to share with you this wonderful experience. I first applied to a scholarship through Scottsdale Artist School and was accepted. And then I've been preparing a whole bunch of materials and supplies. And now I'm getting ready to travel, stay in a hotel, go to the workshop, and come back home. So I hope to share all of this with you. It's going to be amazing. I'm super excited, and let's get started. As for supplies, let's start off with paint first. Now I have this absolutely giant bag of paint. It's probably way too much, and I am just an over-prepared girly, and so hopefully this is good enough. On Mark's website, he has a list of his palette and what he kind of recommends bringing. He says he's not too stingy about what materials you bring, but that to remind yourself that he uses the things he does to get the work he gets. So I bought a couple things extra for this workshop. I'm also just using what I have as well. So I've got kind of a hodgepodge in here. But let me read you off of his website what colors he uses. So we have titanium white, pretty standard. Hansa yellow medium, great. Hansa yellow deep, didn't have that, so I think I bought it, can't remember. Azo orange, didn't have it. And I can't pronounce this word very well, so pardon me. Prioli scarlet, Prioli red, I think I bought something similar or something close. Yellow ochre pale, I'm just gonna use yellow ochre. Anathra, Anathracone red? Yeah. Transparent brown oxide, I have that. Phthalo blue, of course. Ultramarine blue, yes. Then he has some optional paints, and that's transparent red oxide, cerulean blue, phthalo blue, and verdian. So there's lots to be had. All right, for mediums, he says he has a modified traditional Meyer medium. I'm not quite sure what that is, and so I bought a couple things to help me. It's 5 parts Gamsol. I have that. That's great. 1 part Galkid, and I bought Galkid and Galkid Light because I didn't know what to buy. And then linseed stand oil, which I did buy. He also uses solvent-free gel, and I did get some of that. He uses linseed oil, walnut oil, and safflower oil. Inside only, and then he uses Gamsol outside only, and pure gum spirits or turpentine outside only, and only for initial washes. I recently listened to his podcast with Jeff Hine, and he really talked about turpentine and how much faster it dries than Gamsol. So I'm curious about it. I'm also worried about it. Maybe, maybe not in the future, I'll try out turpentine. Let's talk brushes. Now, Mark uses a lot of Rosemary & Co., Master Series long flats, Eclipse extra long combers, Master Series riggers, Egberts that he chops. Ooh. Then he also uses Da Vinci Maestro bristles, flats, and then a connoisseur palette knife. Now I have some of that, but I didn't have all. So I bought a couple new brushes, some really nice clean tips that I'm very excited to use. I've kind of waited to use them. So here we go. I bought some new riggers and long flats, eclipses. Aren't they pretty? They're just so clean and so straight. Just look at that. Here's some riggers in ivory. Ivories are my personal favorite as a replacement for, normal bristle brushes. I mean, you can see some of my old ones. They're just a little stained. I also have, some normal bristles like this. I have my old bristles from college, and, a variety of other brushes. So I'm kind of thinking, bring it all. They won't hurt. I know Mark uses this certain palette knife, but I love playing with new things. One of my favorite tools is this Master's Touch silicone scraper. It's really fun. I love it. You can kind of erases out things if you don't like it. So, big fan. Another thing I love is this palette knife. I love this diamond shape here. I don't know the brand. It's worn off. It was made in Italy. I think it says RGM Plus, but one of my favorites. And then I recently found this guy in Canada who makes palette knives, and they are super flexible. They're beautiful. Just look at that. So pliable and nice and lovely shapes. Like you'll never see anything like this in a normal store. Just so springy. Get these. They're super cool. They're super nice. Let's talk surfaces. Now, I work primarily on acrylic gessoed masonite board that I make myself. I buy the panels from Lowe's, I bring them home, I cut them, I paint them, and it's good enough for me. They're a bit heavy, they're a bit cumbersome, but they seem to be doing fine for me. But I saw on his website that he uses oil primed panels. And I was like, I can make that. I can do that. So I bought my normal masonite board. I bought like a really small jar of Gamblin oil ground. And I read, the little instructions on the website. And I was like, I got this. It'll be fine. It'll be great. I got the board out, took a big dollop, put it on the panel, and used a squeegee thing that I had to kind of try to make it level. It did not work. It did not spread very well. The squeegee rippled, and it was a mess. I was painting outside and bugs were getting into it. It was starting to be windy, so my drop cloth was going all over the place, and I was like, I can't do this. So I brought everything inside, put it on this table, and was like, I just need to set it and forget it. Came back a few days later and got out a foam roller this time, diluted it with 5% Gamsol, and it worked so much better. I waited about 48 hours in between each coat so it would be pretty dry, and then you're supposed to leave it for about a week to paint on the surface because it is, an oil paint. It doesn't need that time to oxidize. So this is what it looks like. It's pretty good. I get my masonite panels with the whiteboard coating on the back. That way it's more sealed. I don't have to do that extra step, and it looks pretty great. I'm really excited to try it out. But Mark is doing also something that I've never done before, is work on linen. I know, I've never worked on linen. I'm too cheap. So he has a couple brands that he recommended, like New Traditions Art Panels, Raymar, Centurion, and I, for one, couldn't find them very well in the sizes that I wanted, and they were too expensive in my opinion. So I found actually an alternative. It's called Multimedia Artboard, Clausen's Belgian linen on an 8-inch Sintra. So it's like plastic base with linen mounted onto the top that's been double primed. It did run me a pretty penny. I'm kind of afraid to use it because it's so nice, but this is a test. This was a treat. This won't happen very often. Maybe someday I'll buy one of those super expensive rolls of linen and make panels myself. Let's talk some other things that I'm bringing with me on this workshop. Personally, my favorite way to handle wet panels is called a panel pack. It looks like this. It's kind of this wooden structure that keeps the two boards separate, and then you just place them, face side inside, and then you just secure it with a big rubber band. They are amazing. They're kind of indestructible in my opinion. I love just throwing it in a bag. It's got these nice soft round corners. I know a lot of other people like the Raymar carriers, but I just feel like it's so bulky and gets in the way. I've never owned one, of course, but I like these a lot. I love to be prepared. Maybe I'll want, paint in my hotel room, or I'll want things to dry out. So I have kind of my go box here. So this is my little to-go box. I've got a sketchbook. I've got a drop cloth, a little rechargeable light, I have this with a little contraption I'll show you later, but it opens out into being a little stand for my paintings to dry. I have more paper towels pre-ripped. I love to have little squares. I hate having to rip off my own, so I always rip them off first, fold them into squares, and then I keep them that way. I have some more Gamsol, more paper towels, of course. I've got a brush squeezer, more gloves, and I also have a maul stick just in case. So we're going on a plein air painting workshop, and we haven't talked about my easel yet. So I use a Strata Mark II. It's really durable. I love how tough it is. I bought it kind of during COVID times. I came home from college and spent all my rent money that I was going to use on this easel, and I love it. It's a beast. A new addition to my kit is actually a Easy L umbrella. I live in Utah and it gets bloody hot, and I wanted this to, one, protect me, and two, to protect the painting. If your palette and your surface is in the light, it can drastically change how your painting looks when you bring it inside. You know, it might be too dark. As an artist, I'm always looking for better ways to tell my story, to share my work, and to connect with people. And that happens to be a lot through technology, like this. I am filming on a DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I've been looking at it for like 6 months to a year, and I finally kind of bit the bullet and bought it. It's an amazing little camera. It's so cool. It does all these amazing things. It's got this handy dandy little microphone, and I can't wait to film this whole week and share with you. Another weapon in my content creating arsenal, I have this really funny looking necklace. It is a phone holder, so my phone connects right here with the magnet, and then I can just film from my chest. Pretty cool. Another tool of the trade is this little slim tripod that the DJI is on. It's about, 5 feet tall. It's got a camera shutter button that I can take out, and then I can film myself or start recording remotely. It also comes with this attachment where I can put my phone in and film myself that way. It also turns into like a giant selfie stick, so you can go out really far away and have like the view from behind you. I did this when I went to Big Sur. I took my phone in here and then extended the stick as far as it could, and I put it over the cliff. I freaked out my parents, I freaked out my sisters, and the phone was fine. Got some really cool images, that's for sure. Definitely a new perspective I had never seen before. I definitely recommend getting a tripod if you want to film yourself for any reason, whether it's for social media or for family videos. It is just so handy to have. I am very fair skinned, and so skin cancer is a big issue for me. So I don't go anywhere without my handy dandy hat. It floats on water. It's got a chin strap, a secret pocket. It's from the Tilly brand. And when I was 12 years old, my dad said I looked good in hats. So I love a good hat. Something I also would recommend is having an apron. It doesn't matter what kind, as long as it covers you and you know how messy you get. Because personally, I love to stand with my hand on my hip or with a paintbrush on my hip, and I get paint all through up in here. So I made sure that this comes up high enough so that is not an issue. Also, you can have specific painting clothes if that makes you feel better. It makes me feel better, so I have like UPF rated, long tees and shirts so I don't ruin them, but that's just me. Last but not least, what's in my backpack? I keep my paint in a little box and paint. It keeps everything really organized and great. It looks like this. That way it stays all clean and the paints don't slide. So that is one of my personal favorite tools. If I can get just back in here. There we go. More paper towels, a brush holder, got a palette scraper, a sketchbook with a pen and pencil, sunscreen, bug spray. This is a new addition from last year. It's a little value Oh, I don't even know what to call this. It's a color evaluator. So it helps you see value better. Super cool. I've got some business cards, a viewfinder. I have these cool buttons that have links to my website and like just my name. I also have hand sanitizer in this and a ponytail, and this is where I keep all my junk. So I'll slide in the panel carrier first, and then I'll put the easel box, and then I will put the tripod in, and then my apron, and so it just fits all snugly in here. Super easy and great. It also comes with really two convenient pockets. On one side I keep my gloves, and then on the other side I know this really cool trick to fold plastic bags into these little triangles, and so those just live right in here, so I'm never, you know, scrambling to find a trash can while out. Always remember to pack in and pack out what you bring. Don't litter. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is all that I'm bringing on my plein air adventure to Boulder, Colorado. Now I have to pack the car.